My parents sent me an official disinheritance letter because I refused to go to my brother's wedding to my ex-fiancée. They said I could be put back in the will if I helped them get out of prison. I have read enough stories here to know I am not the first person betrayed by their family. I am not special. But I never thought I would live through something this extreme. You can judge if it is extreme or not. For me it is. I am 32 years old. Until a few months ago I was engaged to my girlfriend who is 29. We had been together for about 7 years. The engagement lasted a little over a year. The wedding was fully planned. The venue was booked. The catering was paid. The honeymoon was paid. The guest list was finished. The invitations were already sent. The deposits were gone because the cancellation came at the last moment. Everyone knew the date. 2 weeks before the wedding she left me. She sat me down and said she could not go through with it. She said she needed to find herself. Until that moment she gave no sign of doubt. To say I was surprised is an understatement. It destroyed me. I had to cancel everything. I had to call the vendors. I had to explain to friends who had bought plane tickets. I had to face the humiliation of telling people the wedding was off. It was a disaster. But I know other people have been dumped close to their wedding. The worst came later. Less than a month after the breakup I found the truth. She did not need to find herself. She needed to find my brother. She had already found him. I just did not know. I found out in the most humiliating way. My brother brought her to a family barbecue. He walked in with her on his arm like she was a new girlfriend. Except she was not new. She just changed brothers. I told them both a few things and left. My parents did not like that. They told me I had to learn to lose. They said my ex was not my property. They said if she chose my brother then I should accept it. I do not know what universe makes that acceptable. I would not care if my ex dated someone else. But my own brother right before what should have been my wedding is not normal. A couple of months passed and they got engaged. So yes, my ex had been with my brother before she left me. If anyone had used common sense this would not be my story. When I refused to go to the wedding my parents exploded. They said I was being bitter. It was not bitterness. I simply did not want to be there. Because I blocked them they sent me an official disinheritance letter. My mother even printed it on the family lawyer's letterhead. It did not read like it came from the lawyer. I do not even think you need a letter to disinherit someone. You just remove them from the will. My parents thought the letter would hurt me. Until that moment I had no revenge plan. I did not want ties of love or hate. I only wanted peace. Cutting them out was enough. But inviting me to that wedding and then sending that letter crossed the line. It felt like betrayal and mockery. The favoritism in my family was already obvious. This was too much. So I made a small decision to take revenge. The decision was small. The revenge not so much. My brother has been hiding dirty things. Not sexual things. Money things. Which can be dirtier? I work in finance. I know numbers. My brother runs a small business. Somehow it has been booming. He is terrible with money. I saw his numbers because he once asked me for advice. He never asked permission to take my ex. He only wanted to rub his success in my face. But there was no real success. The revenue was suspicious. It was far too good to be true. The problem is that I have seen evidence that something smells wrong. And what I found means things will not end well for him. They will not end well for my parents either. So yes, they disinherited me. They spat in my face. But the joke is on them. They tied their future to a man who has been digging his own grave for years. I have the dirt to bury him. I have not done anything yet. This is too fresh. I wanted to write my story here from the start. I want to post updates later so I do not have to drop a long biblical saga all at once. People here give ideas and suggestions. I do not think I am clever. So every tip helps to sink my family. I cannot promise when the next update will come. When I have something important I will post it. Meanwhile I will be here reading. And before you tell me not to get revenge, that ship has sailed. I had been okay with cutting my family off. They begged for it. This cannot be stopped now. Update 1. The wedding happened. Not mine. Mine died the moment my ex and my brother decided to spit in my face. They did not bother to wait and keep up appearances. This wedding was the one my family could not wait to rub in my face. I did not go. There was zero chance I would. In the days before the ceremony my parents treated me like I had committed a war crime. They blew up my phone. Yes, they were blocked and yes, they had disinherited me. But that letter was meant to make me panic and go. There were dozens of messages and voicemails. Too many to repeat. One stood out. It was from my mother. She begged me to attend the wedding for the love of God. She said it would not cost me much and my presence would make them all happy. She even hinted that my ex might introduce me to one of her friends and I might end up with someone better. It made me laugh that she admitted there were better people than my ex. She cursed and invoked God in the same sentence. My family is a case study in strange behavior. On the day I turned my phone off, I knew they would keep harassing me until the last second. It did not matter how many numbers I blocked or how many replies I sent. When I switched my phone on that night, it was full of messages. If my phone could walk, it would have run away. There were dozens of photos. My mother smiling ear to ear. Her hugging my brother and my ex. Trying to rub it in. My father beaming with a champagne glass. They even sent a short video of the slideshow with childhood photos. There I was in pictures without permission. There were photos of times when my ex and I attended family events. Nothing romantic in the images. No kissing. Still they put them up. There were smug texts. They told me what I missed. They said it was a beautiful day. They said I would regret it when I was older. They called my brother lucky. They told me I had been foolish. Maybe my reply had offended them. Maybe that direct message could have hurt in some way. But I was already planning a delayed wedding gift. They could say what they wanted. The one who laughs last will be me. If you have not read my old posts, my brother is not just a jerk who steals women. He is stupid, reckless, and greedy. A toxic mix. I call that sort of greed the death cocktail. It leaves miles of paper trails. It makes enemies without realizing it. He handed me all the traces I needed. He thought I would only look at the revenue. He thought I would feel bad and accept his alleged success. No. I spent a weekend doing forensic accounting. What I found were fake invoices. Ghost accounts. Payments that did not match. Thousands of dollars moving in and out of places they should not be. At first I thought he was covering personal expenses through the business. That would still be stupid but manageable. Then I saw it was bigger. He was creating payments to fake suppliers. He issued checks to companies that did not exist. He pocketed the money. And here comes the best part. My ex was neck deep in it. I recognized some accounts. They were her personal accounts. She was not a passive bystander. She actively helped him set up the whole scheme. I suspect they started while she and I were still together. Maybe that is how their romance actually began. Or the romance excited them so much they said, let us commit tax fraud. What did I do? What I know how to do. I built a small bomb with a timer. Accountingly speaking. I know the IRS. Those people are brutal. I deal with them often for work. They do not mess around. You can sleep with the meanest mobster daughter and come out scarred. But the IRS will not forgive. They will gut you until you hit the floor. I know their language. We file many reports to them. So I packaged everything nicely and sent it to their offices. Happy married life, little brother. Merry Christmas. I did not expect fireworks overnight. These people put an arm up your rear without warning and then notify you. I am specific because I have seen them punish people for a missing comma. These things take time. Investigations move slowly. Here is the good part. I also prepared the evidence to make their job easier. So even though not much time has passed since the wedding, I know they have contacted my brother. Now I just pour a whiskey and wait for things to play out. This is no longer in my hands. It is in the hands of the worst sons of bitches you can find. Edit. If any IRS agent reads this, I only want to say I love you and I am exaggerating. You are good people and your fists are for justice and love. Respect to OP's lawyer. Update 2. For a timeline. A month and a half after my brother's fairy tale wedding, the castle collapsed. I admit I am enjoying every second. I woke at 6:15. Not by choice. My phone would not stop ringing like air raid sirens. I could have unblocked my parents to find out what happened. They had finished their messages and calls from different numbers. I assumed my brother had not told them about the investigation. I thought with the wedding over they would be calm. I did not expect this call. My mother called. My first thought was no way. My second was finally. My third was let the show begin. Dozens of messages. Missed calls. Voicemails piling up. Messages like answer. They took him away. Followed by pleas for help. You are the only one who knows what to do. Then the crown jewel. They arrested your brother. Answer for once. They could be violating him in there. I was laughing so hard I had to sit down. That is why I was late. At dawn, a joint team of state police and federal agents arrived at his house with a warrant. They declared him in their custody. My golden son brother was dragged out in handcuffs. He wore a t-shirt and gym shorts. They searched the house top to bottom. Neighbors came out to their porches. Some recorded. His new wife, my ex, was hysterical. She yelled at the agents. They took her in for questioning without handcuffs. Charges included embezzlement, fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion. The probe had been brewing for months. My evidence was the final nail. I would like to say it is all my doing and my revenge. Karma also did its part. I feel little guilt. For everyone else I can only say best day of my life. My brother screwed me in the worst way. Now the IRS will ruin him beyond imagination. By mid-morning my parents were in total collapse. They called me more than 50 times. I never answered. I did not want to. My phone was on silent for work. More voicemails arrived. First they were angry. How dare you ignore us when your family needs you? Your brother is a heartless bastard. Do something. You know finance. Then desperation. Please fix this. You work in finance. You know how to talk to these people. Help him and we will put you back in the will. They never said it out loud. It felt like the letter was a bluff. Finally, the emotional blackmail. You will regret it when they lock him up. You will carry that guilt forever for putting your brother behind bars. The IRS can be ruthless. If my brother goes to prison, it will be a low-security place. The worst that might happen is a few dominoes thrown in his face by another inmate. Edit lawyer approved. That night I brought dinner home. I sat in my kitchen and listened to all the messages. I nearly choked laughing. The food almost went down the wrong hole. I stopped eating and listened instead. That felt healthier. The consequences were glorious. Their assets frozen. Accounts locked. The house they flaunted on Instagram flagged for forfeiture. My parents, who once boasted about their golden son in church, became radioactive. The gossip spread through the congregation after some of my mother's audios leaked. I told you. Cursing and invoking God in the same sentence makes baby Jesus cry. By Sunday my mother went from blessed to excommunicated. And my ex. She thought she was upgrading. She left me at the altar for a man with a booming business. A man my family worshipped. Now she is in damage control. Posting frantic updates about standing by her husband. She is scared. She participated. There are transactions to her account. She is not the mastermind. She will still get some of it though. My brother is no genius. I know what some will say. Vengeance does not mend a broken heart. But a good morning laugh helps. Try it and tell me. Before anyone calls me a villain, remember. This investigation was not new. I did not tell my brother to steal. I did not tell my ex to join the fraud. They are adults who chose this path. Their choices blew up in their faces. I am stuck in the middle. Update 3. It is done. My brother has been formally charged. Multiple counts of wire fraud. Embezzlement. Tax evasion. The prosecutors stacked charges so high even his lawyers stopped pretending he will walk free. Best case 10 years. Worst case 20. His wife did not last. The woman who left me at the altar smiled as my family applauded. She left him once she realized he was not escaping this. A week after the indictment she filed for separation. A week later she was seen in a wine bar holding another man's hand like nothing happened. Loyalty was never her thing unless it meant surviving. Poetic justice. My brother traded up and boarded a sinking ship. When the water reached his neck he jumped. Jump all you want. Charges follow. You cannot jump away from that. My parents were the best part. Not by choice. It was a Sunday. I was making breakfast when they knocked. I opened the door. They stood there together holding an envelope. Almost in unison they said, "We have come to apologize." Inside was a copy of their will. It said I would receive my share. Only if I helped my brother. The condition was that on the day they died and if I had helped him I would get the family house. What an offer. The house meant little to me. I already had a home. I wondered if they wanted a house in exchange for helping my brother. My answer was no. My help would have been minimal anyway. Maybe advise their lawyer on financial matters. That would be all. I would not do it. My brother is ruined. I know what my parents are doing. They want me to speak to them again. No. A house at 30 or 40 years old is not worth it. They look very healthy despite what they are going through. If the offer were for right now, maybe I would think about it. Maybe I would accept the house and pretend to be fine with them until they transferred it. But a genuine relationship? No way. I had to close the door because they looked sad about my refusal. I did not want them to spoil my appetite. I looked through the peephole a couple of times. I felt like a disciplined dog that did not know what it did wrong. My parents knew. No lip service would make me want them. Then they left. I went back to my breakfast and my things. Bomb defused. Some will call me cruel. They will say I should have opened my arms and forgiven. Let me tell you something. Go let your brother sleep with your fiancée. Stand there and watch like the doormats you are. Then listen when your parents tell you to accept defeat and go to the wedding. I am sure you would not. But this is not your life. You are playing at being the good person. Go find a fistful of IRS agents and shove it where the sun does not shine. OP's lawyer speaking. Here is OP's lawyer. I do not know what to say. I think I resign. There is no sentence yet for anyone. But my brother is up to his neck in shit. My ex is not much better. I will not pretend I feel sorry for them. I am happy they were indicted. Sympathy. None to offer. Update 4. When I said you do not play with the IRS, I meant it. I joked before, but not paying taxes is no joke. My brother found that out. I went too far guessing 10 or 20 years. I was excited, and he is not a murderer after all. But less than a week ago, 4 or 5 days ago, he received a sentence of 6 years in a minimum security prison. I could joke that he will be someone else's fiancé. But those are not that kind of prisons. He should watch his domino games. Things can get serious fast. My ex, besides divorcing him, also got sentenced to 18 months in another facility with similar comforts. I know that infidelity is not punished with jail. I tell myself that this was her price for being unfaithful. So we can say it was for that. My parents were sent to a psychological prison after the congregation shunned them. I warned you. Messing with God was not going to end well. After the IRS, the worst thing is to go against religion. I thought about something special to celebrate the convictions. In the end, I sat on my porch with cold beers. With wine or whiskey, I chose the simplest. A cold beer on a hot afternoon. Knowing that my dumb brother and his unfaithful wife were sweating in a cell felt like the nectar of the gods.